The sky above the jungle shimmered with strange colors, unlike anything Earth had ever seen. A ship, sleek and silver, hovered silently above the trees. It was small, yet strangely elegant, with lights pulsing like a heartbeat of a living being. On board, a group of alien students leaned over observation panels. Their faces glowed with excitement and amusement. "This is Earth," one of them asked, his voice tinged with laughter. He had 3 eyes, all darting around a dense forest below. "These creatures, they call them tigers. They are just large cats. Primitive, weak. How disappointing." His companion snorted, a small puff of blue smoke escaping from what looked like a mouth. But was more than that. It was a display of emotion. "I expected something more dangerous. On my planet, predators can outsmart machines. These..." He waved at the tiger lounging in the sunlight below, barely react to wind in the trees. The humans on the ground, hidden in the forest, watched silently. They were not many, maybe a dozen, and their expressions were calm. Their eyes, however, held a spark that the aliens did not notice. The jungle seemed ordinary to the aliens, but every tree, every shadow, was part of a careful plan humans had designed over centuries. One tiger, larger than the rest, padded quietly toward a clearing. Its golden eyes locked onto a small drone hovering above. The aliens laughed. "It doesn't even notice us," one said. Truly, Earth's predators are simple-minded. But the tiger paused, its head tilting slightly. It sniffed the air, as if sensing something the aliens had not anticipated. Then, with silent grace, it crouched low, muscles rippling under its striped coat. From above, the aliens leaned closer to their screens. "Pathetic," said the student with 3 eyes. "It's just a show. No intelligence here, no challenge. Perhaps we should go hunting already. Make it interesting." On the ground, a human shifted slightly, unnoticed by the aliens. He was small, wiry, and moved with the quiet confidence of someone who understood the jungle better than anyone. He whispered under his breath, "They think the tiger is alone. They don't know we've been preparing for this moment for years." The aliens continued to mock. "I can already imagine the display," one said, a grin stretching across its face. "We will track it, study it, maybe even take one as a specimen. This will be amusing for the entire class." Yet the tiger did not move toward them. Instead, it walked slowly in a circle, eyes scanning, ears twitching. Every step was deliberate, almost calculating. The aliens noticed, but their arrogance blinded them. "It walks as if it understands it's being watched," one said, trying to sound intelligent. "Ridiculous. Animals are instinct only. They do not plan." A sudden rustle in the trees made the aliens freeze. Something was moving in the shadows, something small and quick. A second tiger appeared, barely noticeable at first, then stepped into the clearing. It joined the first one without fear, its movements perfectly in sync. The aliens leaned closer to their screens. "Interesting," one said. "Perhaps they can communicate, but still not enough to challenge us. Just a trick of the mind. Mere coincidence." Meanwhile, humans exchanged quiet nods. Their plan was simple. Let the aliens grow confident. Let them underestimate. The jungle, they knew, was alive in ways the aliens could not imagine. And the tigers were only the beginning. As the sun dipped lower, the jungle began to glow with an orange haze. The aliens activated small drones, trying to track the tigers' movements. Lights blinked across their instruments. Still no intelligence. One student said, "Just luck, pure instinct." The largest tiger crouched again, eyes fixed on the drones. Then, with a sudden leap, it sprang into the underbrush. The aliens gasped in surprise. "Impossible!" one shouted. It predicted the drone's path? Another tiger followed, moving like shadow and wind combined. The aliens looked at each other, their earlier laughter fading. Something was happening here. Something they had not expected. The humans, watching from hidden vantage points, allowed themselves a quiet smile. They had waited for this moment, for the aliens to reveal their arrogance. Earth's predators were clever, yes, but humans had prepared the stage. The jungle was a living trap, and the tigers were its guardians. Above, the alien students adjusted their instruments, trying to regain control. "We will show them," one muttered. "These animals are nothing compared to our technology." But the tiger paused in the clearing, as if it had already heard the thought. Its golden eyes reflected the last light of the sun, calm yet unyielding. It was not just an animal. It was a hunter. And for the first time, the aliens realized, perhaps they were not here to study. Perhaps they were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. The jungle settled into silence, the kind of quiet that made the heart pound. The aliens, laughing moments ago, now felt a strange unease. Earth was not simple. Its predators were not weak. And somewhere in the shadows, the humans waited, patient, watching, knowing that the real game was only about to begin. The next morning, the jungle was alive with sounds. The chirping of birds, the rustle of leaves, and the soft patting of paws against the earth. The alien students had prepared themselves. They brought small hover drones, scanning devices, and strange nets designed to trap the so-called primitive predators. They were confident. They thought today would be a simple exercise, a demonstration of their superiority. "This will be fun," said the tallest alien, his forearms moving with precision as he adjusted the drone sensors. "Observe the tigers. Track their movements. Capture one for study. Surely nothing can stop us." His companion chuckled, smoke curling from her mouth. "Primitive hunters. Weak reflexes. Instinct only. We will have our specimen by noon." The humans, watching from hidden positions, made no sound. They knew the jungle and the tigers well. And these tigers, they were not ordinary. The first tiger appeared, stepping into a small clearing. Its golden eyes scanned the area carefully. It had no fear, only awareness. The aliens aimed their drones, expecting the tiger to react with confusion. But the tiger didn't just move, it calculated. With a sudden, fluid motion, it shifted to the side, avoiding the drone's path entirely. The aliens laughed nervously. "Just luck," one muttered. "Animals cannot think. They cannot plan." A second tiger joined the first, moving silently through the underbrush. The aliens' devices beeped wildly, tracking their movements, but the tigers seemed to anticipate every signal. Every net, every trap, every drone, the tigers avoided it effortlessly, as if they were reading the aliens' minds. "This is unusual," admitted one alien reluctantly. "Still, it is only instinct. It will make a mistake eventually." But mistakes were not in the tiger's plan. The aliens decided to get closer, stepping carefully into the jungle. They wanted to see the tigers up close, to confirm their assumptions. But as they approached, the jungle seemed to change. A leaf would fall, a branch would snap, always just enough to divert their attention, to distract them. The first tiger crouched behind a thick bush, waiting. The second tiger mirrored it, both moving like shadows in perfect synchrony. The aliens leaned over their instruments, confident but slightly uneasy. Then it happened. The first tiger darted out, not at the aliens directly, but toward a device one of them had dropped, an advanced scanning drone. The tiger's paw struck with precision, disabling the device instantly. Sparks flew, and the aliens jumped back in shock. "What? How did it know?" one shouted. The humans, hidden nearby, exchanged quiet glances. They had expected this. The tigers were not alone. Humans had trained subtly over generations, guiding them, teaching them the rhythms of the jungle. But the aliens could not see this. They saw only tigers and trees. The aliens regrouped. "It is a fluke," said the tallest one, trying to sound certain. "One device cannot prove intelligence." But the tigers were not finished. They began to move strategically, leading the aliens in circles through the thick forest. Every drone, every net, every trap the aliens used was avoided effortlessly. It was almost as if the tigers were playing with them. One alien growled in frustration. "This is impossible. We are trained for any predator, any environment. Yet these animals, they predict us." A third tiger appeared silently, joining the first two. It circled the aliens slowly, keeping them inside a natural corridor of trees and shrubs. The aliens' confidence faltered. They were no longer observing. They were being observed. The largest tiger, the one who had caused the first shock, locked eyes with the alien leader. Its gaze was steady, calm, and somehow intelligent. It was not fear nor aggression. It was understanding. The tiger seemed to know the aliens' intentions before they acted. For the first time, the aliens hesitated. Their laughter had vanished. The jungle, the tigers, and even the humans hidden in the shadows, all were reminding them that Earth was not simple, not predictable, not weak. Perhaps we underestimated them, admitted one alien quietly, almost whispering. This is strange, unexpected. The humans, unseen, smiled faintly. They let the aliens feel confident, let them mock Earth's predators. Now the first lesson was beginning. The jungle was alive with silent intelligence, and the hunters were not the ones the aliens had imagined. The tigers continued their careful movements, leading the aliens deeper into the forest, into narrow paths and hidden clearings. Every step was calculated, every move precise. The aliens tried to adapt, but the tigers were always one step ahead. As the sun climbed higher, shadows stretched across the forest floor. The aliens realized that their plans, their technology, and even their confidence were not enough. They were being tested. They were being outsmarted. The first encounter had ended not with capture, but with a revelation. Earth's tigers were not just animals. They were hunters. And the humans, who had watched silently from the shadows, knew the lesson had only just begun. The aliens retreated slightly, regrouping, their pride wounded but their curiosity piqued. They had come to study primitive predators, to laugh at their simplicity. Instead, they had discovered intelligence, strategy, and something far more dangerous, the quiet confidence of Earth itself. And somewhere in the jungle, the largest tiger sat back on its haunches, golden eyes fixed on the retreating aliens, calm, patient, and aware. The hunt was only beginning. The jungle was quiet again, but the air was thick with tension. The alien students gathered near the edge of a small clearing, their devices humming softly. They were no longer laughing. The events of yesterday, the drones destroyed, the traps avoided, had shaken them. This is different, admitted the tallest alien, his four arms twitching nervously. I did not expect this. The creatures, they are smarter than we imagined. His companion, smoke curling from her mouth in agitation, growled softly. No, this cannot be. They are animals. Instinct only. We are trained hunters. We should be able to capture one with ease. We will prove it. The aliens began to speak loudly, their voices carrying across the trees. We challenge the tigers, the tallest one announced. We will hunt you and prove your weakness. Show yourselves if you dare. From the shadows, humans watched silently, barely moving. They had not intervened before, but now they felt the aliens' arrogance reaching a peak. It was time for the next lesson. The jungle itself seemed to respond. Birds flew from the treetops in startled flocks. Leaves rustled, and somewhere deep, a low growl echoed. A tiger emerged slowly into the clearing, its golden eyes fixed on the aliens. It moved with confidence, unafraid. Another followed. Then a third, their movements perfectly synchronized. The aliens' confidence faltered for a moment, but they masked it. "Ha!" said one alien, raising a net. "See? They appear. But appearances are not intelligence. We will take one easily." The humans exchanged glances. They knew the aliens underestimated the tigers still. The predators were not alone. Every move had been carefully prepared over generations, subtly guided by humans. The aliens did not know that the humans had already begun to manipulate the terrain, paths, bushes, fallen trees, all designed to aid the tigers in ways that were invisible to the outsiders. The aliens began to advance, their devices scanning the forest floor, their nets ready. They thought the hunt would be simple. They thought they were the predators. But the tigers did not charge. They did not run blindly. Instead, they circled. They moved silently but deliberately, leading the aliens toward a narrow corridor between dense foliage. Every drone that hovered above was met with evasive maneuvers. Every net set on the ground was ignored, avoided, or dismantled with precision. The aliens' confidence started to crumble. "Impossible!" shouted one. "We are superior hunters. This is only instinct, It cannot plan so well. The largest tiger, the one who had observed them so carefully from the start, stopped in the center of the clearing. Its eyes locked onto the tallest alien. For a brief moment, everything was still. The rustling of leaves, the hum of devices, even the wind seemed to pause. It was a stare filled with awareness, and the alien felt a chill. The humans, hidden behind thick bushes and trees, watched quietly. They did not interfere. This was not just a hunt. It was a test of arrogance, patience, and respect. The aliens believed they were the hunters, but the real hunt had already begun, and the rules were not theirs to set. "You see," whispered the alien with smoke curling from her mouth. "It watches, it predicts. This cannot be instinct. Something else is happening here." But no one could answer her question. The tigers did not speak, but their coordination was undeniable. One tiger moved, and another mirrored it perfectly. Paths that seemed clear suddenly became obstacles. Drones malfunctioned mysteriously. Sensors lost signal, and nets fell short. Every tool the aliens relied upon failed when the tigers acted. Frustration and fear began to mix with their earlier excitement. They were used to control, to superiority, to planning and strategy. And now, in this jungle with these predators, they were uncertain. "Perhaps we should retreat," one whispered nervously, though his pride did not allow it. "No," the tallest alien snapped. "We will not show weakness. We are hunters. We control the hunt. Prepare yourselves. This is only the beginning." The tigers, calm and patient, continued to circle. It was a silent warning. They were intelligent. They were aware. They were ready. And the humans, unseen, smiled faintly, knowing the aliens' lesson would grow sharper with every step they took. The sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the forest floor. The aliens prepared for an offensive, confident yet wary, unaware that the jungle itself was alive with strategies, traps, and lessons waiting to unfold. In that quiet jungle clearing, the first true confrontation had begun, not with a battle but with a challenge. The aliens had declared themselves the hunters, but the tigers and the humans guiding them were about to show that the hunt was far from simple. Somewhere deep in the forest, the largest tiger crouched low, muscles coiled like springs. Its golden eyes reflected the sunlight and something else, a quiet intelligence. It was ready. The aliens were not. And the real game, the true hunt, was only beginning. Dawn broke slowly over the jungle, casting long shadows across the dense forest floor. Mist hung in the air, curling around the trunks of ancient trees. The alien students were ready. Hover drones buzzed, nets were primed, and scanning devices glowed softly. Their confidence, though shaken by the previous encounters, remained stubborn. They were hunters. They would capture a tiger today. "This time," said the tallest alien, "we will succeed. We are trained. We are superior. These creatures will not escape us." His companion snorted smoke, eyes narrowing. "Prepare the traps. No room for mistakes. We cannot allow instinct to triumph over intelligence." The humans remained hidden, observing quietly from high vantage points and behind thick foliage. They did not interfere, but every movement, every step, had been anticipated. The jungle was a maze they knew intimately, and the tigers had already been guided over years to navigate it like masters of their domain. The first tiger emerged into the clearing, sleek and silent, muscles rippling under its striped coat. Its eyes scanned the clearing, calm yet alert. Another followed, moving like a shadow beside the first. The largest tiger, always patient, crouched low, golden eyes reflecting the alien devices above. The aliens advanced cautiously, releasing small drones into canopy. Beams of light swept over the tigers, but every move the aliens made seemed predicted. The tigers did not panic. They adapted instantly. When a drone swooped too close, one tiger leapt, disabling it with a precise swipe of its paw. Sparks flew, and the alien stumbled back in shock. "This is impossible," whispered one alien, fumbling with a net. "They cannot think so fast. Instinct, nothing else." The tigers did not attack immediately. Instead, they began to maneuver, leading the aliens deeper into the jungle. Every step felt controlled, deliberate, Almost like a game, drones lost signal in the thick foliage. Nets fell into hidden streams, and traps set on the forest floor were dodged as if invisible. The aliens' frustration grew. "We control this hunt," shouted the tallest alien. "We are trained for any predator." But control was an illusion. The jungle itself seemed to rise against them. Twisting roots blocked their paths. Fallen branches redirected their steps. Birds and small creatures moved in patterns that distracted and delayed the aliens. And all the while, the tigers watched, their movements synchronized, every action anticipating the aliens' next move. The humans, unseen, allowed the jungle to play its part. They had set subtle signs, guiding the tigers, testing the aliens' arrogance. Every shadow, every sound, every hidden obstacle was part of a careful design. The aliens did not see the humans, but they felt the challenge mounting. Suddenly, the largest tiger leapt forward, but not at the aliens. It moved toward a net lying in a clearing, a trap the aliens had set earlier. With a single paw, it tore the net apart, feathers of synthetic fiber floating in the air. The aliens gasped. One step back, almost tripping over a hidden root. "Enough of this!" shouted the alien leader. "We will corner it, surround it, release all devices." They did. Drones whirred loudly. Nets fell from the trees, and sensors activated across the clearing. The tigers paused for only a moment. Then, as if rehearsed, they split, each tiger moving in a different direction, luring the aliens into separate paths. The forest became a maze. The aliens were disoriented. One by one, drones malfunctioned. Nets snagged on invisible branches. Devices lost power or became entangled. The aliens' advanced technology, their pride, their training, all were failing in ways they had never imagined. The humans remained hidden, smiling faintly. They knew the tigers were not just surviving, they were teaching. This hunt was not about strength. It was about awareness, patience, and intelligence. And Earth, through its predators and its people, was showing the aliens that superiority was not always obvious. The aliens regrouped, hearts pounding, pride wounded. "They are learning us," one muttered, fear creeping into his voice. "How can this be? They are intelligent." The largest tiger crouched in the shadows, watching. Golden eyes locked on the aliens' movements. Calm, patient, a hunter waiting for the right moment. The jungle fell silent for a moment. Mist curled around the trees, and sunlight pierced through the canopy in scattered beams. The aliens realized something chilling. This was not just a hunt. The tigers, guided subtly by humans, were controlling the game. Every move, every step, every device was being countered. The hunters had become the hunted, and for the first time, the aliens felt true respect and fear. The first strike of the hunt had passed, but the real challenge was only beginning. Somewhere in the dense jungle, the largest tiger waited, ready to turn the hunters' arrogance into their first lesson. The hunt had begun, and Earth was not a place for the weak-minded. The jungle grew darker as the afternoon sun dipped behind thick clouds. Mist clung to the underbrush, and the sounds of distant waterfalls echoed through the trees. The alien students were tired, frustrated, and increasingly cautious. Their confidence from the first morning was gone. The hunt, which they had thought simple, was now a challenge unlike any they had faced. "This is not what we expected," said the tallest alien, his forearms trembling slightly as he adjusted a hovering drone. "They anticipate everything we do. How can animals be this intelligent?" His companion, smoke curling in frustration, muttered under her breath, "They are not just animals. This is impossible. It cannot be instinct alone." The humans, hidden among the trees, watched quietly. They had allowed the aliens to believe they were in control, to let arrogance cloud their judgment. Now, the real lesson was about to begin. The largest tiger, silent and poised, moved like a shadow along the forest floor. The others followed, perfectly coordinated. The aliens, eager to regain control, advanced into a narrow canyon flanked by dense foliage and twisted roots. They believed the terrain would help them corner the tigers. But the tigers had chosen this path deliberately. Every turn, every fallen branch, every shadow was a guide and a trap. Careful, whispered one alien nervously. This path, it feels strange. Too quiet. The largest tiger crouched ahead, its golden eyes fixed on the intruders. It moved with a deliberate calmness, every step precise. Another tiger emerged from the left, blocking a narrow passage. The aliens realized too late. They had been guided into a natural trap. Drones flew forward, scanning the area, but branches caught the sensors, sending signals into chaotic interference. Nets set to trap the tigers fell short or snagged on roots, useless. The aliens' frustration grew into panic. "We control this hunt," shouted the tallest alien, trying to maintain authority. "We are superior hunters." But superiority was an illusion. The tigers were smarter. They moved silently, coordinating their positions. The aliens, separated in the canyon, could no longer see all the tigers at once. Every attempt to capture one failed. Every step forward led to another obstacle. One alien tried to chase the largest tiger, rushing into a narrow path. Suddenly, a tangle of roots and vines blocked him completely. The tiger waited calmly on the other side, golden eyes watching, muscles coiled like springs. The alien struggled, panic rising. From hidden positions, the humans observed silently. Their role was subtle but crucial. Every trap, every obstacle had been enhanced by their knowledge of the jungle. The aliens thought the tigers were acting alone, but in reality, humans had guided the hunt for generations. This was a true HFY moment. Human intelligence, patience, and subtle strategy shaping the outcome, unseen. The largest tiger paused on a high ridge, its gaze scanning the canyon. Its stance was calm, controlled, almost commanding. The aliens began to understand something chilling. They were not just facing predators. They were facing intelligence combined with strategy. "Impossible," whispered one alien, backing away. "This is coordinated. How can this be?" Another alien, smoke curling from her mouth, looked around nervously. "We underestimated them, underestimated the humans, underestimated the jungle. We are weak here." The tigers moved again, carefully herding the aliens into an open clearing surrounded by dense trees and cliffs. From the edges of the clearing, hidden humans observed. They did not need to intervene. The tigers were guiding the aliens, teaching them without a word. The aliens were trapped by their own arrogance and the careful design of Earth itself. The air was thick with tension. The mist swirled around the tigers' paws, the sunlight glinting off their eyes. The aliens were forced to pause, breathless, devices failing and plans collapsing. They had believed they could dominate, but now they realized that Earth, its predators, and its humans were far smarter than they had imagined. The largest tiger crouched low, its eyes never leaving the aliens. Calm, patient, unyielding. The others flanked the canyon edges, moving silently but with purpose. The aliens could feel it. They were no longer the hunters. They were being studied, outmaneuvered, and trapped by intelligence that did not rely on advanced technology. The first lesson had been delivered. Pride and arrogance had led the aliens into a trap. And somewhere deep in the jungle, hidden from sight, the humans smiled quietly. Their intelligence had guided the tigers. Their patience had set the stage. Earth had shown that superiority was not measured by technology alone. The aliens, catching their breath, realized something profound. This hunt was more than a test of strength. It was a lesson in respect, strategy, and awareness. The jungle was alive, the tigers were aware, and the humans were the silent force behind it all. And as the tigers circled the clearing, waiting, golden eyes gleaming, the aliens understood one terrifying truth. They were not in control. Not yet. The turning point had come. The hunters had become the hunted. And the real challenge, the true test, was only beginning. The jungle was quiet now, but the tension hung thick in the air like morning mist. The alien students were exhausted, their devices failing one by one. The drones that had once given them confidence now lay scattered among the trees, sparks flickering. Nets had torn. Sensors had gone silent. And the tigers, they moved like shadows, calm, patient, and untouchable. "This cannot be just instinct," whispered the tallest alien, his voice trembling. "It is intelligence. Too perfect, too precise. How can animals be this coordinated? his companion, smoke curling from her mouth, shivered. No! This is beyond anything we expected. This is strategy. Someone or something is guiding them. From the shadows, humans stepped forward slowly, revealing themselves for the first time. Their movements were calm, controlled, almost imperceptible, but the aliens noticed immediately. Surprise flickered across their faces. "You humans!" the tallest alien gasped, backing away slightly. "You've been here all along?" A human, small and wiry, smiled faintly. "We have been here, yes, watching, guiding, helping them." The aliens looked around at the tigers, now circling in perfect harmony. Suddenly, everything made sense. The patterns, the traps avoided, the perfectly timed movements. It had not been instinct alone. It had been subtly guided by humans, who knew the jungle and its predators better than anyone. "You manipulated them?" another alien asked, disbelief in his voice. "You use strategy? You are controlling them?" The humans shook their heads slowly. "Not controlling," said one. "Guiding. Teaching. We don't need to interfere directly. The tigers already know how to survive, how to hunt. We only show them the paths, the patterns. The rest is theirs. They are intelligent, just like you've begun to realize." The aliens' pride faltered. Their confidence, once so unshakable, was shattered. They had thought themselves superior, believing that advanced technology and experience would allow them to dominate Earth's predators. Instead, they had been tested, and the humans, the species they had underestimated, had orchestrated it all quietly, without force, without interference. The largest tiger crouched near the humans, golden eyes scanning the aliens. Calm, aware, waiting. It had not been led blindly. It had been guided subtly, given choices, taught to act with precision. And the aliens realized the truth. Humans had not only trained the tigers, they had trained them in the art of strategy itself. "You underestimated us," a human said softly, stepping closer. "You laughed at our predators. You thought Earth was simple. But intelligence comes in many forms: nature, patience, guidance. You did not expect this, did you?" The aliens said nothing. Their arrogance had been stripped away, replaced with something new: respect and fear. They had come to mock, to laugh, to study primitive creatures. Instead, they had learned a lesson in humility. The tigers circled slowly, as if to confirm the humans' words. Their muscles coiled, their eyes sharp, their movements deliberate. They were not weapons, not tools, not mere animals. They were hunters, thinkers, and survivors. And humans had shown them how to be even more formidable, without ever forcing their hand. One alien whispered, almost himself, "So, we were not hunting. They were teaching us. And you humans orchestrated it all." A human nodded. "Yes, you saw strength. You saw skill. But real power, real superiority, comes from intelligence, patience, and understanding. Not arrogance. Not technology alone. Not force. That is the lesson of Earth. And you learn it the hard way." The aliens looked at the tigers again. Their golden eyes seemed to reflect not only the sun, but the depth of the lesson the aliens had been forced to confront. Each step, each maneuver, each strategy had been part of a greater design. The tallest alien swallowed hard. For the first time, he admitted what the others had begun to feel. "We misjudged you. We misjudged your world. We underestimated Earth." A quiet smile passed across the humans' faces. They did not boast. They did not need to. The lesson had been taught. The arrogance of the aliens had been tested, and the intelligence of humans and their bond with nature had emerged victorious, silently but undeniably. The tigers, sensing the aliens' change in attitude, relaxed their stance slightly. The largest tiger approached, golden eyes locking on the aliens one last time. Calm and commanding. It was not a threat. It was recognition, respect, a shared understanding between hunter and observer. The aliens slowly lowered their devices. Their pride was wounded, but they had gained something far more valuable: the realization that intelligence and strategy came in many forms, and that strength without awareness could be outmatched, even by the weaker species they had laughed at. The jungle settled into calm once more. Mist drifted lazily across the forest floor. The tigers returned to their paths, moving with quiet dignity. And the humans, hidden in plain sight, had shown that the real power of Earth lay not just in its predators, but in the silent intelligence guiding them. For the aliens, the revelation was complete. They had thought they were hunters. But the truth was clear. They had been students all along. And the teacher, Earth itself, had proved far more clever, patient, and strategic than they had imagined. The jungle was alive with movement, but not from the aliens this time. Their devices were mostly useless, their confidence shattered, and their arrogance replaced by fear. The alien students had realized painfully that they were no longer the hunters. They were being studied, outmaneuvered, and cornered by forces far smarter than themselves. We must retreat," whispered the tallest alien, voice trembling. His forearms fumbled with a failing drone, sparks flickering from the controls. We cannot fight them." Smoke curled from his companion's mouth as she glanced nervously at the shadows around them. They know every move we make, every path, every trap we set useless. We are exposed. The humans watched silently from high trees and behind thick foliage. They did not need to intervene. The aliens' panic was enough. Every step they took, every direction they tried to run, was anticipated, not just by the tigers, but by subtle guidance from humans who understood the jungle better than any outsider could. The largest tiger crouched low on a ridge, golden eyes fixed on the fleeing aliens. Another tiger blocked a narrow passage, muscles coiled like springs. The third moved silently behind, closing off escape paths. It was a silent symphony of coordination. The aliens rushed forward, trying to find an open path. Every drone they released malfunctioned. Every net they threw snagged on invisible roots. The forest itself seemed alive, shifting to guide them into dead ends, toward places the tigers had already predicted. "Stop!" shouted one alien desperately. We cannot escape." But escape was futile. The tigers, calm and patient, moved without haste, guiding the aliens exactly where they wanted. Their strategy was subtle. They did not attack directly. They did not need to. The aliens' fear, their confusion, and their desperation were enough. From the shadows, the humans observed with quiet satisfaction. They had allowed the aliens to grow confident, to mock, to underestimate. Now, as the aliens fled, they saw the real strength of Earth, silent, patient, and strategic. It was not brute force alone, nor was it the sharp claws of the tigers. It was the intelligence of humans, the coordination of nature, and the bond between them that created true superiority. One alien stumbled, catching himself on a twisted root. A tiger padded silently toward him, not to attack, but to block his path. Golden eyes locked on his, and he froze, heart racing. Somewhere in that silent stare, he understood something profound. Earth's predators, guided subtly by humans, were in control. "We underestimated you," whispered another alien, smoke curling faintly from her mouth. We thought we were superior, but we were wrong." The aliens continued their frantic flight, weaving through narrow paths, leaping over roots and dodging fallen branches. But the tigers anticipated every move, every turn, every leap, every direction the aliens tried to take was met with calm precision. They were not running from the predators. They were running through a lesson. The largest tiger crouched on a small hill, watching as the aliens struggled to find an exit. Its eyes reflected patience and understanding. It did not need to chase them. They were already trapped by their own arrogance and the subtle guidance of humans who knew the jungle intimately. At last, the aliens reached a wider clearing. Their devices flickered weakly, drones failing, sensors dead. They realized they had no advantage left. Exhaustion and fear had replaced arrogance. The tigers, still calm, still aware, did not move in aggression. They simply stood, observing, reminding the aliens of the lesson they had failed to anticipate. The humans stepped forward, revealing themselves more clearly now. "You believed you were in control," one said quietly. "You thought your technology, your strength, your experience would dominate. But intelligence, patience, and understanding are far stronger than arrogance." The aliens bowed their heads, their pride wounded, but respect beginning to grow. They had entered the jungle thinking themselves hunters. Now they realized they had been students all along. The tigers moved away slowly, returning to the deeper shadows of the forest. Golden eyes glimmered in the mist, watching the aliens, but never with malice, only with awareness and dignity. The aliens, exhausted and humbled, began to retreat toward their ship. They would leave the jungle, carrying not trophies or captured creatures, but a lesson they would never forget. Somewhere deep in the forest, the humans watched the aliens retreat. They had not needed to fight. They had not needed to intervene. Earth itself had taught the lesson. Its predators, guided by subtle intelligence, had shown the aliens that superiority is not just about strength, technology, or aggression. It is about patience, strategy, and understanding. The jungle fell silent once more, mist curling lazily around ancient trees. The alien ship lifted into the sky, retreating into the clouds, their arrogance diminished, their respect for Earth and its creatures profound. The tigers remained, golden eyes gleaming, calm and majestic. And the humans, hidden in plain sight, had proven that intelligence, silent, patient, and strategic, was the true power of Earth. The aliens had fled, but the lesson would stay with them forever. The hunt had ended, not with a victory for the hunters, but with a revelation. Earth and its creatures, guided by the quiet intelligence of humans, were far more formidable than any outsider could imagine. The jungle was quiet now, the morning mist settling like a soft blanket over the trees. The alien student ship hovered silently above the canopy, ready to leave. Their devices had failed. Their pride had been broken, and their understanding of Earth had changed forever. The tallest alien, once full of arrogance, now sat in silence, staring out at the jungle below. We underestimated them, he said quietly, voice trembling. The tigers and the humans, we thought ourselves superior, but we were wrong. Smoke curled from her companion's mouth. She nodded, eyes wide with newfound respect. We laughed at Earth, mocked the predators, thought them simple. But now we see. Intelligence comes in many forms: patience, strategy, awareness, and connection. Below, the tigers moved gracefully through the forest. The largest tiger, golden eyes gleaming, paused in a small clearing, turning its gaze toward the retreating aliens. Its stance was calm, almost regal, as if acknowledging the lesson delivered. The other tigers moved beside it, silent and dignified, each step deliberate, each glance purposeful. The humans, hidden in the trees and behind thick foliage, emerged slowly. They did not boast. They did not speak loudly. Their smiles were quiet, knowing, almost invisible, but their presence alone conveyed mastery. The aliens realized what had been true all along. It was not brute force or advanced technology that made Earth's hunters formidable. It was intelligence, patience, and subtle strategy, qualities that humans had cultivated for generations. "You see," said one human softly, stepping into the clearing, "this is our world. We do not dominate blindly. We observe, we guide, we teach. Our predators learn, adapt, and survive. And we are part of the balance. That is the strength you underestimated." The aliens' eyes met the humans'. No words were needed. Respect passed silently between them. They had come to mock, to laugh at Earth's creatures, to prove themselves superior. Instead, they had been taught humility. They had been tested, and they had learned the truth of Earth's quiet, unstoppable intelligence. The tallest alien lowered his devices, letting them rest by his side. We came as hunters," he admitted, voice soft. "We leave as students. We respect your world, your predators, and you." The other alien nodded. Smoke curled slowly, forming shapes that reflected thought and reverence. "We will not forget this lesson," she said. "The tigers, humans, Earth, far stronger than we believed, far smarter than we imagined." The largest tiger, sensing the change in attitude, moved closer to humans, tail curling gently. Its golden eyes shone with recognition, not just of the humans, but of the aliens as well. It was a quiet acknowledgement. Respect had been earned. Arrogance had been humbled. The balance restored. The alien ship lifted slowly, the forest falling away beneath them. They looked down at the tigers prowling silently, at the humans standing quietly, and they realized something profound. Victory was not about defeating strength. True superiority was understanding, patience, and intelligence applied wisely. From high above, the jungle seemed alive, watching and approving. Birds flew from the canopy. The mist swirled like smoke, and every sound, from rustling leaves to distant waterfalls, felt like a quiet applause for the lesson taught. "Perhaps," said the tallest alien softly, "we will return someday, not to conquer, but to learn, to respect, to understand." The humans smiled faintly, hidden yet visible enough to convey acknowledgement. They had not needed to fight. They had not needed to prove their strength with weapons or aggression. Earth's intelligence, patience, and the bond between humans and their predators had spoken louder than any force could. The tigers returned to the shadows, moving with quiet dignity, golden eyes gleaming one last time. The alien ship disappeared into the clouds, leaving the jungle silent once more. The lesson had been taught. The arrogance of outsiders had been tempered. Respect had been earned. And in the quiet heart of the jungle, Earth itself seemed to breathe with quiet pride. Its predators were strong, its humans clever, and its balance unbroken. The aliens had laughed once, but they would never forget. The hunt had ended, not with conquest, but with understanding, humility, and respect. For the first time, the aliens saw it clearly. Earth was not just a planet of creatures to study. It was a world of intelligence, patience, and power, subtle, quiet, and undeniable. And in that moment, they understood the true meaning of HFY. Humans, work with their world, could outsmart even the most arrogant invaders without a single shout, strike, or show of force. The jungle settled into peace. Mist curled through ancient trees. Tigers prowled silently. Humans disappeared into the shadows. And the aliens, chained forever, left the world with respect, humility, and a lesson they would carry across the stars.